Welcome to the What's New in NetBees version 12.0 webinar. Today, we will be going over what's new in version 12.0, sneak peek into 13, and doing a Q&A after as well, along with the drawing. As I said in the chat, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them either in the chat or with the Q&A button, and we will answer your questions at the end of the webinar during the Q&A portion. So let's meet our presenters. We have Carrie here with me. I'm Jess, and Carrie is part of our product team. Today, he'll be our Vanna White as well. Not only is he an engineer, but he's going to give you a lovely tour of the 12.0 features. So would you like to introduce yourself, Carrie?
Hi, everyone. I am Carrie Castillo. I'm on the software development team. I've been with NetBees about 3.5 years, and actually think my 3-year, 6-month anniversary is like today or tomorrow. So
Wow, happy anniversary, Carrie.
half anniversary, but thank you.
Hey, I celebrate half birthdays, so we can celebrate your half NetBees birthday.
That sounds great. But yeah, so I love it here. I love being on the dev team and putting together these releases and these features that everyone's asking for.
Awesome. Can't wait to see more about 12.0. So let's get into the agenda. So as I mentioned, for our agenda today, we'll be going over the most important features of release 12.0, which Carrie will be showing you live demos of, and then what to expect in the next release in 13, and then the Q&A followed by our drawing for the Amazon gift card. So I'll let you take it away, Carrie.
Well, thank you so much. And this is what we're going to talk about for the first half of the presentation. Version 12.0 just came out on May 4th, and some of you may have already been utilizing some of the new features, but I'm here to kind of reiterate what has come out with version 12.0 that we're super excited to share. So just to kind of run through them real quick, one of the biggest things that we came out with was we took our reports beta out of beta. So now it's the reports. Of course, you can still access legacy reports if you want to access them in the meantime. But reports beta is out of beta. So that's super big news. Next, we have the SAML SSO authentication. And with that, what SAML is, it's security assertion markup language. So what's really exciting about this is it's kind of like a generic or like a bare bones, like skeleton type of framework where it is SSO, but it can work with a lot of different providers. So the identity provider of your choice, your users you go into the NetBees dashboard, they click through to your identity provider, they authenticate, it then sends this type of like XML, which is the security assertion markup language, to NetBees. So we know that they're a verified user, and then the user can log into the dashboard. So what's exciting about that is SAML is pretty compatible with a lot of different applications out there. So one of the biggest requests we have is for an Okta integration, and SAML is the ticket to do that. So that's another thing about NetBees. You let us know what you're looking for, what features you want, email support, talk to us on the dashboard through the messaging chat or the community site, and let us know your feature requests and we'll make it happen for you. But that's just a little tangent. So that's SAML for us. And the next thing that we put in this release is the TCP retransmission on iPerf version 3. I'll get into a little bit later, exactly what that is. And then the last thing was the role-based access for the agent interactive console. And what that is your users are able to go to the agent details on a particular network agent and access the console, or not access the console, depending on what your preference and what your configuration is. So let's jump into what's new. So first, the new target report, new scheduled test report. We'll kind of talk about these two together just because they are what took our reports out of beta. So what we're looking at now, when we go to your NetBees dashboard, you go into the reports tab, and now you're looking at this. It looks a little different. It says new in the corner instead of reports beta. So we took that out. So new is here. Of course, you can click through to the legacy reports too if you want to continue to use legacy reports for the time being. But on this new reports tab, we call this the reports list view. So you're able to access all the reports that have been generated. You can filter them out by the different types of reports. You can also filter out if you have a report name that in mind that you want to see, you can filter it by text from the report name. Also, that text field, you can search by date generated, date range as well. And then the last way to filter out the reports is with the My Reports button. You just click there and it shows you all the reports that were generated by whichever user is logged in at the moment. So that's the report list view. It looks similar to how it was before, just with these added filter options. And then when you want to view a report, you would just click on one of the rows or on the ellipses and then view it. But before we do that, let's jump into how to actually generate one of these new reports. So I did that kind of fast without talking through it. Go to generate report up in the upper right, then click from scratch. And then here you're able to click the type of report you want to generate. If you have generated a report in the past, you can see that this kind of looks familiar, but before target and scheduled test was disabled, now they're enabled. So if you want to generate a target report, select the target you want a report on, select the time range. You can even do a custom date and time if you wish, and then remember to name your report. And then you click generate report in the upper right and it generates. And then if you want to do a scheduled test, you can click schedule test. We have another option here. You can choose which type of scheduled test. And these scheduled tests, what they're referring to, the scheduled test on the test tab. So let's jump back to the reports, generate report. And so here we're just going to pick a network speed test to generate a report on. And here we give you the option to generate a report, a network speed report based on the agent, and then all the network speed tests that are associated with that agent, or you can run the report based on one of your scheduled tests. Remember one of these scheduled tests that I just showed over here. So there's two different styles to run the report, depending on what exactly you're looking for. But so agent will give you all the scheduled tests with that agent. The scheduled test, and you can select multiple if you wish, will give you all the agents that are associated with those scheduled tests. So it depends on which way you want to look at it is doable. But yeah, so select the scheduled test for the agent, select the time period, and then name your report and generate report. So that's how you would set up one of these new reports and how you actually would view them. I mentioned you click on the row. So I'm going to do that for the target report. And just to kind of walk through the report, at the top, you can see what the report's name is, the time frame that it was generated by, who generated the report, and then some of these widgets that are associated with this report. We have the incidents. You're able to see how many incidents during the duration of the report occurred on the different days. You're able to see the agents that are associated with that target. And then we give you the average for the tests over that time range. We also give you the alerts, the critical alerts and the performance alerts over that time range as well. And if we get on a little further, we have a widget for target performance. So you're able to see kind of like in buckets or like an aggregated view of how the targets or how the agents are performing on the target for the ping test, for the trace route. And you're able to kind of get out of there how many are in the 0 to 20 milliseconds, or how many are failing, or how many are taking 30 to 40 hops. And I should mention that we see ping and trace route here. We don't see DNS and HTTP. There just wasn't any associated with this target. So that's just the only reason we're not seeing them here. And then the last widget for the target report, we have the agent's performance. And here we're able to see kind of like over the duration of the report, line graph, and it's able to give us information just so we can kind of see where we may be having issues on the network, or maybe able to compare two agents. And what's cool is I know if we have, it looks like we have maybe 10 agents here, and it's kind of tough to see what's going on at first. We're able to actually take away some of those lines, and then we can really hone in on what exact agents we want to be looking at and comparing the results. So with that, let's jump over to the network speed. We're going to go through one of the scheduled test reports. So I generated a network speed test for the last 30 days. And here we see and I did it, remember we have the two different options, by agent or by the scheduled speed test. Here I did it by the scheduled the scheduled test, and I generated it for 3 different speed tests. And with the different widgets, oh, well, first I should talk about the top. It shows you each of the speed tests and gives all like the configuration, the schedule, conditions, everything like that. And then the next widget, we have our test aggregates. And here we have, and for the, remember, this is a speed tester, so we're showing download and upload speeds in megabytes per second. And with the iPerf and VoIP, it will show other metrics as well. But for this one, we have a third access to the graph, and that's our latency. So it's done by color. So the ones with a more yellowish tone are a lower latency, and the darker tones are higher latencies. And if you hover over the points, you can see exactly the agent and what speed test it was associated with. What's also cool is you can color these by the ISP as well. So if you're thinking there may be an issue with an ISP or who knows what, you're able to see kind of where each ISP is falling with the test results. The next widget or the next section, we have the agent section, similar to the target report, but here we're seeing the metrics for our scheduled speed or our scheduled tests. And here we have our network speed test results. And these are the averages for the time period that we selected for this report. We have the number of test runs, the errors, the warnings, also the ISP, and then what test it's associated with, because you can have one agent that is a part of 2 different scheduled tests. And here again, we are seeing the test performance, or it's similar to the target report. We're seeing the test performance for the different agents and what tests they're a part of. And again, if you're looking for a specific speed test or a specific how an agent's performing, you can click on the agent name and the speed test it's associated with and gather more specific information. So you can kind of drill down there. And we have a couple more widgets for the scheduled test report. We have the ISP quality. If you want to maybe, again, look at like by ISP, maybe there's an issue going on there, then you're able to see the download speed, the upload speed, and which ISPs are and how the ISPs are performing. And on this side, we kind of, it's graded between great, good, okay, and bad. So you can kind of get an overview or like a high level view of how they're performing. And the y-axis is the number of agents for each. Lastly, on the scheduled test report is the warning occurrence. You're able to see the alerts that are triggered for the time period that the report was generated on. So we're super excited. So that's the end of the reports section, but we're super excited to bring this out of beta and have everyone start using it. And with that, I'm going to jump over to the presentation and talk about, we did talk about SAML SSO a little bit before, so I'll kind of skip that one for now. But TCP retransmission on iPerf is another one that has been requested, and we're happy to bring this one to you. So with this one, let me just show you how to set it up. You'll go to the test tab and then to iPerf, add a scheduled iPerf test. And with this, it has to be a TCP and it has to be iPerf version 3. And then of course you select what agents you want to be associated with it. And then you create your iPerf test. And with that, this is our test list view. You're able to see your, I previously generated one of these tests and it's been running because I wanted there to be results for us. But with other iPerf tests, we give you jitter, packet loss, bandwidth. For the iPerf version 3 TCP, we are going to give you the TCP retransmission. And this is in packets that are retransmitted. For more information about like what is TCP retransmissions, they're just packets that whenever there's a sender and a receiver, if the sender is getting a notion that packets are being duplicated or not being received, the sender then retransmits packages. But for these results that I'm showing you here, everything was fine. Nothing had to be retransmitted. But if you did have any like network congestion or something was happening with the network and packets were being retransmitted, you would see the retransmissions here. So that is TCP retransmission in iPerf. And then the last thing that we were able to bring to you for 12.0 was actually not the last. We actually brought a lot. These are some of the main features, but every now and then you'll see like a minor like tweak or a bug fix here or there. But these are the main features. So I should say the last main feature that we're bringing to you is role-based access for the Agent Interactive Console. And let's just talk about first, what is the Agent Interactive Console? If you go to the Agents tab and you're on the Network Agents sub-tab, it's not for remote workers because we don't allow access to the console for remote workers for people's laptops and computers. This is only for the network agents. You're able to go into the agent details and there's a console sub-tab and you're able to actually run commands on that agent's console. So for what we did for this is we are now allowing the administrator to say which users get access to this sub-tab. So if they want read-only users to not have access and read-write users to have access, you're able to do that now, which is pretty cool. So anyone that you restrict access to, they will not see this tab here. Anyone you give access to, they will see this tab here, and then they're able to utilize the console for that agent. Now to do this, to enable this for different users, you would go up here to the gear for our settings tab, and then you would go to the users tab. And we added this button here on the right. You're able to click the button. You see this little pop-up that says, who do you want to give permission to access that console? If I want read-only users to not have access, I keep it toggled off. Read-write users to have access, I toggle it on. I save settings. And then the next time any of the users log in, they either will see or will not see that interactive console in the agent details tab. So that is some exciting stuff that we got going on. And with that, that's pretty much the end of what I wanted to talk about, what we did with this May 4th release for 12.0. And we're just on the dev team, we're super excited to get this out to everyone. And we also wanted to give a little peek behind the curtain as to what we're working on for the 13.0 release. And so I wanted to go over that now. It's slated for release sometime in September of this year. So it's just around the corner. And the first big thing that we're working on is report scheduling with email notifications and public links. So what that feature is all the reports that we were just working on, we are going to set it up so you're going to be able to go and like run a scheduled report to maybe like something like run a report for the last 7 days. And then every so often you're going to get an email in your inbox and it's going to give you a link that's going to take you to the report. So we're excited to bring that to you now. And we're also going to add permissions as far as, do you want to make these links public or not public? So we're going to add that in there as well, but that's still in development. And then some of the next things that we're working on is some integrations with some third parties. We are working on some webhook integrations here. So with that, you're going to be able to, I know we already offer some integrations on our integrations tab, but we're actually kind of refactoring everything. So you're going to be able to use more integrations, MS Teams, some other ones as well. And you're going to be able to get alerts, get incidents, and have whatever third party you want talk to NetBees and communicate with NetBees. So we're excited about those. We're also going to be doing a ServiceNow integration as well. So for 13.0, we got some integrations on board and we're working more with the reports. We're getting them scheduled out. And with that, I will turn it over to Jess.
Hello again. Welcome to the Q&A, and thank you so much for the demo, Carrie. That was awesome.